Welcome guys back to another ranking video, and on today's video we're going to rank my favorite Jim Carrey movies. He is one of my favorite actors I grew up with, and I just love a ton of his movies. There are so many movies I love by him, and if I did not even, I can't even fit them all in if I can top 10. That is actually pretty good. So why not? Let's get started with it. Coming in at number 10 is Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, the sequel to Ace Ventura. Now I think Ace Ventura is a great film, and you'll find that out later in my countdown. But for as far as When Nature Calls, it was a real let off from the first one, but still a funny movie, classic. I love the character that he plays as Ace. Ace is just, I mean, that's one. Hey, it inspires my name, CG Ace. That's because I was called Ace because I always went around acting like him. But yeah, Ace Ventura 2, number 10. Coming at number 9 is probably one that you guys probably would have higher on y'all's list because it is a very popular movie, and that's Dumb and Dumber with Jeff Daniels and, of course, Jim Carrey. The movie is very funny. I love it. I actually became more of a fan of it at later than when it first came out. Wasn't a big fan of it when it first came out, but later on I did find it very funny and definitely worth watching all the time. Every time it's on, I'm usually leave it right where it's at and continue watching it. Coming at number 8 is The Cable Guy, one of Jim Carrey's first villain roles. And the thing is, I loved him in this movie. He played a great villain. And the thing is, I mean, granted, the movie is very outdated now because when you watch it, just a lot of the stuff that's going on in the movie is just outdated. But he did a fantastic performance. I loved him in this one. And he just, he's one of those lonely guys. And great movie. Great movie. Definitely worth watching if you haven't watched it. Coming at number 7 is one of his first. Granted, it was a funny role, but it was more of a serious take for him, and that was The Truman Show. I really liked this movie because it showed, it was he was born in this, in the TV world, and everything was around him like that, and it was so cool. In fact, I just recently rewatched this again, and every time I watch it, I just find more Easter eggs and everything in there that I liked about the movie, and it keeps me always coming back for more. Coming at number 6 is Fun with Dick and Jane. Definitely a funny ass movie. I loved him actually in this movie too. About, you have so much, and then to have everything. What do you do when everything is taken from you, as far as financial stability and everything. So, and how far will you go? Definitely a funny movie. Definitely a watch if you have never seen this movie. Is definitely a good one. Coming at number 5 is Dr. Seuss' How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This is one of his most iconic movies because I mean, this movie right here just spawned so many memes, and I quote the Grinch all the time because it's just a lot of the catchphrases that he uses in this movie is what you use as an adult. And this movie is just a Christmas classic. If you haven't watched my top Christmas movies, it is definitely in there, and go see where I got it placed in that. Coming at number 4 is The Mask, one of his very early films that I caught him in. In fact, actually, this one came out right after Ace Ventura, and fantastic movie. Just Jim Carrey all the way around, and I mean, come on, Cameron Diaz in this movie, fucking beautiful and fantastic. In fact, this is the only movie I've ever liked her really in. Um, but overall, Jim Carrey did a fantastic performance as Stanley Ipkiss and also as the Mask in this movie. Coming in at number 3 is Liar Liar. I love this movie back in the day. It has some campiness and corniness now when you watch it, but back when it came out, it was just, I mean, it was fucking hilarious. I constantly would put this movie on because it was so funny, and just the fact that he cannot fucking lie is just great. And just what do you do, and another one of these, and this is another one of those movies I quote all the damn time, a lot of the lines in it. Coming in at number 2 is Bruce Almighty, and just, you know for a little while he went off the grid as far as his real comic, movies that he was doing, and then he came back in early 2000s with this in 2000, I think 3. um and just blew it, knocked it out of the park. This movie was so funny and so good. Morgan Freeman is God. I mean, just, it was great. If you have never seen this, where have you been? And of course, coming in at number one is Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Very first movie I ever seen him in, besides In Living Color, of course. But I mean, of course, that was a show. But the thing is, fantastic. Love it all the way around. One of my movies I quote all the time. Definitely in probably my top 10 of all time movies. Um, just fantastic. Best Jim Carrey movie in my opinion. Um, but yeah, that's where we're at. Alright, guys, if you like what you've seen here with this ranking, by all means, just leave it in the comment box below. I want to know what your top 10 Jim Carrey movies are. Leave that in the comment box below. And like I said, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see me do more rankings on whether it's the stars themselves or a different movie franchise, leave it in the box below, comment box, so that way I know what you guys want to see, so that way I can get those out for you. And until next time, guys, that has been the rankings of Jim Carrey.